We discussed about the plus 1 biology chapter 5 morphology of flowering plants. In this lesson we learn about different parts of flowering plants. Flowering plants means angiosperms. If you like this class, please like, share and subscribe. Then we can start our lesson. First, what is morphology? Morphology is the study of size, shape and structure of an organism. Study of size, shape and structure of an organism. Organism means plants and also animals. Then we first discuss about root. The morphological part, root. In majority of dicotyledonous plants, the primary root arises from radicle. This is the picture of an embryo. These are two cotyledons. These are two cotyledons. This is radicle. This is plumule. In majority of dicotyledonous plants, the primary root arises from radicle. Usually fibrous root system that's seen in monocots. Example, rice, wheat, etc. grass, etc. are examples of monocot plants. Usually fibrous root system seen in monocot. Now we study about the root structure of dicot plant. The fibrous root system originates from base of the stem, not from radicle. From primary, secondary and tertiary roots are formed from radicle. The first primary root arises from radicle. From primary root, secondary, tertiary and other branches are formed. The lateral roots are endogenous in origin. That is, this is the main root. This is the lateral root. These lateral roots are arise from inner part, that is from pericycle of the stellar region. The lateral roots, that is branches, are endogenous origin because these lateral roots are arise from deep part, that is from pericycle of the stellar region. So it is known as endogenous in origin. Lateral roots are endogenous in origin. Then what is adventitious roots? Adventitious roots. Roots arise from part of the plant other than the radicle. Roots arise from parts of the plants other than the radicle is known as adventitious root. Other than the radicle. That is the main point. There are so many examples for adventitious roots. One example, banyan tree. The prop root is an example of adventitious root that arises from the branches. Example, banyan tree. Then functions of root. Next topic, functions of root. functions are absorption of water and minerals, providing encourage to the plant parts, storing reserve food, and also helps for respiration. Absorption of water and minerals, providing encourage or support to the plant part. Storing reserve food. Example, carrot, beetroot, radish. Then some roots are helps for respiration, that is known as respiratory roots. That means respiration means aeration. In case of mangroves, they grow in salty region, that is known as nematophore. Example, Rhizophora. Nematophore. Example, Rhizophora. Next, regions of the root. Next part, region of the root. Where we can see different root parts. This is the region of maturation. Here root hairs, that is unicellular root hairs, are arise from the region of maturation. The function of root hair to absorb water and minerals from the soil. Then region of elongation. Next, this is the region of meristematic activity, and this is the root cap or calyptra. We can see the functions of different parts. First part, region of maturation. Here root hairs are arise. Usually root hairs are unicellular in structure. This one gradually differentiate into strong part. Some epidermal cells of this region of maturation form fine unicellular root hairs. Function, absorption of water and minerals. Next, region of elongation. Region of elongation. This one gradually differentiate and mature. Next, region of meristematic activity. This is the fastly growing area. The cells are fastly growing cells. fastly growing cells are seen in region of meristematic part. Then the root cap, that is also known as calyptra. This calyptra or root cap protect the tender root apex. Protect tender root apex. Then what is meristematic cells? We discuss about the meristematic cells. Then other term we discussed about cell differentiation. What is the property of meristematic cells? The meristematic cells are immature or undifferentiated cells without intercellular space, that is, these cells are compactly arranged. The meristematic cells may be round, oval or polygonal in shape. All cells are living cells. All are living cells, not dead cells. Each cell has abundant cytoplasm and a big or prominent nucleus. Vacuoles may be small or absent. Meristematic cells. Properties of meristematic cells. They are immature, undifferentiated cells without intercellular space. Without intercellular space. Second point, the property of meristematic cells. They are round, oval or polygonal living cells. Round, oval or polygonal living cells. These meristematic cells with abundant cytoplasm and a prominent nucleus. Abundant cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? Nucleus plus the fluid around the nucleus, that is cytoplasm. Nucleus plus cytoplasm is known as protoplasm. Cytoplasm means the protoplasm without nucleus. Abundant of cytoplasm and prominent or clear big nucleus. Vacuoles usually absent. Vacuoles usually absent. These are the main character of meristematic cells. Then next term we discussed about the cell differentiation. What is cell differentiation? Cell differentiation. Then unspecialized meristematic cells change to more specialized cell type for fulfill specific role. That means cell differentiation. Then unspecialized meristematic cells change to more specialized cells for fulfill specific roles or functions. Then unspecialized meristematic cells change to more specialized cell types for fulfill specific roles. Usually, these meristematic cells are parenchymatous cells. From this meristematic cell, cell differentiation occurs and produce other permanent cells like collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and different types of, that is, xylem and phloem like conductive tissues. That is known as cell differentiation. Next topic, the stem. The stem. What are the difference between stem and root? Difference between stem and root. First, character. Stem, root. First, character. Cuticle. Second, hair. Third, ground tissue. Cortex, pericycle, vascular bundles, xylem, that is conductive tissue. Vascular bundles with xylem and phloem. Xylem usually conduct water and phloem food materials. Then cuticles of stem present cuticle present in stem but absent in root. Cuticle is the outer glassy covering of epidermis. Then hair, multicellular hairs are usually seen in stem, but root hairs are unicellular. Then ground tissue of stem. Differentiated. That means that differentiated into outer epidermis, then cortex and stellar region. In both cases, the ground tissues are differentiated. This is also differentiated. Next, cortex. Different types of tissues. That means many layered. Many layers are seen. Here, single layer of parenchymatous tissues. This is single layered. We then study more about these parts in next lesson. So we just write the property. Pericycle is many layered in stem but single layer in root. Vascular bundles many conjoined and collateral. Here fixed number, radial, xylem, endark, here exarch. In next lesson we study detail about all these terms. Now we discussed about the difference between stem and root. Next part, the leaves. Leaves. Now we discuss about the parts of a leaf. This is the stipule. This is axillary bud. This is leaf base. This stem part is known as petiole. This is lamina, that is leaf blade. This is midrib. This is leaf apex. These are the typical part of a leaf. The leaf base. The leaf base is the lowermost part of the leaf. Leaf base is the lowermost part of the leaves, by which it is attached to the stem. Then petiole. Petiole is the stalk of the leaf. Lamina or leaf blade. It is a green, thin, flattened and expanded part with veins and veinlets transverse through the surface. Next, ribs. Veins or ribs provide support for the conduction of water and minerals and prepared food. Veins with the conductive tissue xylem and phloem. It helps for conduction of water, minerals and food. Leaf base. Function. Lowermost part which attached to the stem. Next, petiole. Petiole, stalk of the leaf. lamina or leaf blade. Lamina or leaf blade. Veins are transverse through the surface. Veins, it is a flattened part. Veins with xylem and phloem helps for conduction of water, minerals and food. Leaf blade is greenish in color and flattened. Photosynthesis mainly occurred in this part. So it also with the veins, that means xylem and phloem conductive tissues helps for the conduction of water, minerals and food. Next term, venation. Next term, venation. What is venation? The arrangement of veins and veinlets in the lamina is known as venation. Arrangement of veins and veinlets. Veins and veinlets in the lamina is known as venation. There are two types of venation. First, reticulate venation. Reticulate venation and parallel venation. It is a feature of dipod plants, and this is the main feature of monopod plants. The leaves with the reticulate venation usually seen in dipod plants and parallel venation in monopods. Next, types of leaves. Next part, types of leaves. There are different types of leaves. Simple leaf, compound leaf. Mainly leaves are differentiated into simple leaf and compound leaf. Then compound leaves again differentiate into palmately compound leaves and pinnately compound leaves. Then first, simple leaf and compound leaf. Next topic, leaves. Leaves. The parts: leaf base, petiole, lamina, etc. Lamina with veins and veinlets. Next part, venation. Venation means the arrangement of veins and veinlets in the lamina. Arrangement of veins and veinlets in the lamina. Usually, in case of dipod plants, reticulate venations are seen. This is the type of reticulate venation. But in case of monopods, parallel veins are seen. So they are known as parallel venation. Veins are arranged parallel in case of monopod leaves, example grass, wheat, rice, etc. But in case of dipod plants, usually seen reticulate type of venation. That is the branched type of venation. Next part, types of leaves. There are two types of leaves are mainly seen, that is simple leaf and compound leaf. This is an example of simple leaf and these are the compound leaves. This is an example of simple leaf and these are the two types of compound leaves. According to simple leaf, leaf has a single undivided lamina. Single undivided lamina. The incisions does not touch in the midrib. This is the incisions. These grooves are known as incision. There is no incision, so incisions not touching the midrib. Next type, this is a single leaf and this is the two types of compound leaves. In case of compound leaves, lamina. These are the lamina. Lamina divided into many segments called leaflet. These are leaflet. The incisions, that is grooves, touch in midrib. There are two types of compound leaves, pinnately compound leaf and palmately compound leaf. This is the midrib or rachis of pinnately compound leaves and these are the leaflets. Here leaflets arranged on rachis laterally. In palmately compound leaf, leaflets radiate from the end of the petiole. Leaflets radiate from the end of the petiole. This is the petiole, like fingers on the palm. Next topic, phyllotaxy. What is phyllotaxy? The arrangement of leaves on stem or branch. The arrangement of leaves on stem or branch is known as phyllotaxy. There are mainly three types of phyllotaxies: alternate phyllotaxy, opposite phyllotaxy and whorled phyllotaxy. In case of alternate phyllotaxy, example, shoe flower, China rose, mango, etc. Here a single leaf arrays at each node. A single leaf arranged at each node. This is the alternate type of phyllotaxy. Single leaves arranged on each nodal region. Next, opposite. There are two types of opposite phyllotaxies. That is, first decussate and second superposed. When the successive pairs of leaves at upper and lower nodes are at a right angle, such leaves are known as, or such arrangement of leaves are known as decussate type of opposite phyllotaxy. Next, superposed type of opposite phyllotaxy. When the successive leaf pairs at upper and lower nodes are exactly in the same plane. You can see this is the alternate. Each leaves arranged on nodal region. This is opposite decussate phyllotaxy. Opposite and decussate phyllotaxy. This is the opposite superposed phyllotaxy. This is an example of whorled phyllotaxy. In each node there are more than two leaves are arranged in each node. Such phyllotaxy is known as whorled phyllotaxy. This is alternate. Here each node with single leaves. Shoe flower. This is the example of Nerium. And the decussate, opposite decussate phyllotaxy, when the successive pairs of leaves at upper and lower nodes are at right angles. Right angle. Then this is the superposed opposite phyllotaxy. Here the leaf pairs at upper and lower nodes are exactly at the same plane. Same plane. Example, guava. Here we add the clear note about the phyllotaxy. What is phyllotaxy? Then the alternate phyllotaxy, opposite phyllotaxy, two types. Then the whorled phyllotaxy. Next, modification of leaves. Modification of leaves for different function. Leaves have different function, but common function is photosynthesis. But there are different types of modifications are seen in leaves for separate purposes. First, leaf tendril. Leaf tendrils, leaf or leaflets In case of compound leaves, leaflets are seen, but in single leaves, only leaves are seen. Leaves or leaflets modified to form thin, wiry, closed, coiled structure called tendrils. Helps for support. Helps for support. The function of tendril helps for support. Example, glory lily. The tip of the leaf is coiled to form a tendril-like structure in glory lily. Helps for support. Then spines. Leaves modified into sharp and pointed structure helps for protection. Example, aloe vera, opensia, etc. Here, little spine-like parts arise on different, mainly the ribs and other parts of the leaf. Helps for protection. Next, phylloid. The petiole. Petiole is the stalk of the leaf. The stalk of the leaf is known as petiole. The petiole of leaf becomes flattened and helps for photosynthesis. Example, acacia. Leaves of insectivorous plants helps for catching the insects. Example, in insectivorous plants like Nepenthes, that is pitcher plant, whole leaf is modified for pitcher. Then a utricularia or bladderbird, that's seen in water. Some parts of leaves are modified as bladder. Leaves of insectivorous plants, in pitcher plants, that is Nepenthes, whole leaf get modified into pitcher. But in bladderbirds or utricularia, that is a water plant, some segment of or some parts of leaf get modified into bladder. Helps for trapping insects. Here we can see this is the tendril. These are the thorns. This is the petiole of acacia. Petiole of acacia is flattened and helps for photosynthesis. This is Nepenthes, pitcher plant, and this is bladderbird or utricularia. This bladder and this pitcher helps for catching insects. These are the different types of modification, leaf modifications. Next is flower. Flower. Here is the typical LS of a flower. Typical picture of the longitudinal section of a flower. Here, this is the thalamus. Sepal, petal, stamen, pistil or carpel. The whole sepals of a flower known as calyx. Calyx means the whole sepals of the flower united to called calyx. Then whole petals to corolla and all stamens of a flower known as androecium and all pistils or carpels known as gynoecium. Then here is the stamen with the anther and filament. This is the male reproductive organ. This is the carpel is the female reproductive organ with the stigma, style and ovary. Ovary with the ovules. Then variation of flowers. There are different types of flowers. The structure is different. Then the variation of flower: complete, incomplete, bisexual flower, unisexual flower, and monoecious plant, constitute plant, monoecious plant, dioecious plant, neuter flower, zygomorphic flower, actinomorphic flower, and asymmetrical flower. There are different types of flowers. We can study one by one. First term, complete flower. What is the meaning of complete or perfect flower? A flower with all 4 floral buds are seen. These are the floral buds: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. These are the 4 buds of a flower that are arranged on the flat thalamus. A flower with all floral buds, that is 4 floral buds are seen in same flower. Such flowers are known as complete or perfect flower. Then what is incomplete or imperfect flower? Any one or more of the floral buds, are absent. Such flowers are called incomplete flower. Next, bisexual flower or hermaphrodite flower. Bisexual or hermaphrodite flower. Both reproductive organs, carpel or pistil and stamens, or androecium or gynoecium. Both male and female reproductive parts are seen in same flower. Such flowers are known as bisexual or hermaphrodite flower. Then unisexual flower. There are 2 different types of unisexual flowers, male flower and female flower. First, staminate or male flower. Staminate flower or male flower with only stamens are present. They are also known as male flowers. Then pistillate flower, only pistils or female reproductive part only seen in a single flower or same flower is known as pistillate flower, that is female flower. Then next term, that consists of plants, monoecious plants, dioecious plants. What is monoecious plant? Both male and female flowers occur on same plant. Both the male and female flowers occur or seen on same plant. Such flowers are known as monoecious plants. Example in cucurbita. In cucurbita plants we can see male flowers and female flowers in same plant. Then next type of plant, dioecious plant. That is male plant or female plant. Male and female flowers occur in different plants. So here we can see male plants and female plants. Male plants produce male flowers and female plants with female flowers. Male plants only with stamens and female flowers with pistils. Example, papaya. Here we can see 2 different types of papaya plants, male plants and female plants. Next term with flower, neuter flower. Next term, neuter flower. Both stamens and carpels, male and female reproductive parts absent in a flower. Both the male and female reproductive parts absent in a flower. Such flowers are known as neuter flower. Next term, zygomorphic flower or bilateral flower. Zygomorphic flower or bilateral flower can divide into 2 equal halves. Then we cutting through only in a single plane. Example, P. If we cut P plants in longitudinal section, we only get 2 equal halves. Next, actinomorphic flower or regular flower. Example, shoe flower and mustard, etc. We can get 2 equal halves when cutting through any longitudinal plane. Any longitudinal plane we can get 2 equal halves. Example, shoe flower and mustard. Next, asymmetrical flower or irregular flower. We cannot divide this flower into 2 equal halves at all. That's all. The flower is an irregular in shape. Example, canna. Next term, variation in sepals and petals. Variation in sepals and petals. Polycephalous and polypetalous flower. Polycephalous flower, all sepals are free. All sepals are free. This is polycephalous condition. Then in case of shoe flower, all sepals are fused. This is gamocephalous condition. This is polycephalous condition. This is gamocephalous condition. All sepals are fused. Then petals. If all petals are free. Such a case is known as polypetalous case, but in some cases all petals are fused. Such a case is known as polypetalous. This is the polycephalous, this is polypetalous, this is gamocephalous, this is gamopetalous. Polycephalous and polypetalous condition, all sepals and petals are free. These two cases. Gamocephalous or gamopetalous case, all sepals and petals are fused. Next condition, perianth. This usually seen in monocots. Perianth. Here sepals and petals are not distinguished. Sepals and petals are fused together to form a single structure, that is known as perianth, usually seen in monocots. Next, position of flower. Floral girls. Position of floral girls on thalamus. Position of floral girls on thalamus. This is the thalamus. These are the floral girls. Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Then there are three types of such flowers. First case, hypothalamus flower. Hypothalamus flower. Ovary occupies the highest position on thalamus. Other floral buds are seen below it. Hypothalamus flower. Ovary occupies on the highest position on thalamus. Other three floral buds are seen below it. Like this. Ovary is on top level, other floral buds below it. Such flowers are known as hypothalamus. Here ovary is superior. Ovary is on the top level. Ovary is superior. Next, perigynous flower. All floral buds are arranged on the same plane on the thalamus. Same plane. Such flowers are known as perigynous flower. All floral buds are arranged on same plane. Such flowers are known as perigynous flower. Next, epigynous flower. Example, cucurbita. We can see the ovary that developed fruit. Ovary on the lower part and all other floral buds arranged on top of the ovary. Like this. This is the ovary. Other floral buds arranged on above the ovary. Such flowers are known as epigynous flower. Example, cucurbita. Here ovary is inferior, that is lowermost part. Next topic, fruits. Fruit. After fertilization of the ovary, that change into fruit and ovules to seed. Fertilization is a fusion of male and female gametes. After pollination and fertilization, the ovary change into fruit and ovules to seeds. The fruit formed without fertilization, that is without the fusion of male and female gametes. The fruit formed without fertilization is called parthenocarpic fruit. The fruit formed without fertilization is called parthenocarpic fruit. Then we can see the typical part of a fruit. This is the epicarp. Epicarp means pericarp plus mesocarp is known as epicarp. Epicarp is the outermost layer and fleshy, in case of mango, fleshy mesocarp. The epicarp plus mesocarp is known as pericarp. Then this is the stony or hard endocarp. Here we can also see these parts in coconut. The mango and coconut fruit is known as drupe. They developed from monocarpillary. That means a flower with only one single female reproductive part. That means monocarpillary. Superior flower. Ovary superior. In this case, ovary, the flowers, in case of these flowers, ovary superior and one seeded. Usually monocarpillary seeds with one seed case. In coconut, mesocarp is fibrous. The mango and coconut fruit is known as drupe. They develop from monocarpillary flower and with superior ovary and one seeded fruits. The coconut mesocarp is fibrous. Next, seed. Seed. This is the picture of a dicot seed and this is the picture of monocot seed. This is rice. Then we can see seed coat, hilum and microphylla region. If we split this into two equal halves, we can see cotyledons, two cotyledons, then plumule and radicle. This is the embryo. This is the cotyledon. The seed coat has two layers in case of dicot. This is the dicot seed. First we studied about the dicot seed. The seed coat has two layers, outer testa and inner tegment. But in this case, these testa and tegment fuse to form a single layer. Hilum is a scar on seed. Seed coat attached to fruit. Hilum helps for attaching the seed on fruit. Here is a small microphylla region or micropyle is seen. Cotyledons may fleshy and full of reserve materials. The two ends of an embryonal axis. This is the embryonal axis. The two ends of the embryonal axis are plumule and radicle. This is the embryonal axis. In case of castor seed, endosperm formed as a result of double fertilization. We already discussed about double fertilization. You can use, I put one of the detailed portion about double fertilization and triple fusion in our channel. You can use it. Next, monocot seed. Picture, we can see the monocot seed structure. Generally, monocotyledonous seeds are endospermic and rich endosperm. In some case like orchid, there is no endosperm. Usually or generally, monocotyledonous seeds are endospermic with a rich of endoplasm. In some case, that is in case of orchids, no endosperms are seen. The seed coat and the fruit wall are fused. We can see a fused structure in rice. The seed coat and the fruit wall are fused. Within seed coat, a proteinaceous aileron layer. Proteinaceous aileron layer seen. Within the groove, this is the groove. Within the groove, on the one of the smallest part. Within the groove that situated. This is the groove situated on end of the seed. This is the total picture. This is the end part of the seed. Consists of large shield shaped cotyledon or scutella. Shield shaped cotyledon or scutella. And a short axis with a plumule and a radicle. Encloses in a sheath called coleoptile and coleorhiza. Generally, monocotyledon seeds are endospermic with rich endoplasm. In some cases like orchids, there is no endoplasm or endosperms are seen. The seed coat and fruit walls are usually fused in case of monocots. Within the seed coat, a proteinaceous aleurone layer seen. Within the groove, this is the groove. The situated one end of the seed consists of large shield-shaped cotyledon or scutellum and a short axis with plumule and radicle. Plumule and radicle enclosed in a sheath called coleoptile and coleorhiza, respectively. You can use this detailed and summarized note. Then the last part. Semi-technical description. Semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. The arrangement of floral parts determined the family. There are lots of plant families are there. The arrangement of floral parts determine the family. The floral formula and floral diagrams describe the family of the plant. The floral formula and floral diagram describe the family of the plant. The symbols in floral formula. K for calyx, the outermost word with the sepals. C for corolla, the total number of petals of a flower. P denotes perianth, usually seen in monocots. A, the letter A represents androecium. That is the whole male reproductive part, and gynoecium, the whole female reproductive part. G, gynoecium. This is the superior ovary. This symbol denotes superior ovary. This is inferior ovary. This male. This represented female. This means bisexual flower. This represent actinomorphic flower. This represent zygomorphic flower. Fusion is indicates by enclosing the figure in brackets. Fusion. Fusion indicates by enclosing the figures in brackets. This is the this represent the sepals are in fused case, and this is the petals are in fused case. Sepals are in fused case, petals are in fused case. A dot represents the position of main axis. Dot represent position of main axis. Then the floral diagram. What is the importance of floral diagram? Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium are drawn in successive words. In floral diagram, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium are drawn in successive words. Then we can study about one plant family, family Solanaceae. Family Solanaceae. It is one of the largest family, commonly called potato family. Commonly called potato family. Vegetative characters include stem, usually herbaceous, woody, erect, cylindrical or solid. Stem, usually herbaceous, aerial, erect, cylindrical, and solid. Next, leaves alternate simple, rarely pinnately compound. Alternate simple leaf arranged alternately, rarely pinnately compound leaves. Then floral formula. Flowers are actinomorphic, bisexual, that means male and female reproductive parts are seen in same flower. Flower can be cut into equal halves. When we cut through any longitudinal plane, we get two equal halves. Then sepals by fused, petals 5 fused stamens, 5 epipetals. That means stamens are attached on the petals. Stamens are attached on petals. Such stamens are known as epipetal stamens. Gynoecium with superior ovary, 2 locules, fused. Gynoecium bicarpillary with 2 carpels. Syncarpus, that means fused superior ovary, bilocular placenta swollen and axial placentation. This is the picture. Actinomorphic. We can get 2 equal halves when we cut through the longitudinal plane. Flower bisexual. Male and female reproductive part seen in same flower. Calyx, sepals 5 fused. Petals 5 fused. Then androecium 5 epipetals, that attached on the petals. Epipetal stamens. Gynoecium. This is a section of ovary. Gynoecium bicarpillary, 2 carpels, obligately placed. Syncarpus, that means fused superior ovary and bilocular, 2 locules. Placenta, that is the fleshy part where the ovules are attached. Ovules usually attached on placenta. In this case, this placenta is big and fleshy, swollen, with many ovules attached on the swollen placenta. Seeds many. Endosperms, seeds with rich endosperm. Economic importance. Many plants belong to this family as a source of food. Tomato, potato, spice chilli, etc. are included in this Solanaceae family. Belladonna and petunia, tobacco, etc. are other members in this